Hey guys, I came out to St. Adalberts Cemetery today. I believe this is in Niles, Illinois, and I went to visit a friend's grave, and his name is Joe Kozial. And when I find his grave, I'll let you know, and I'll tell you the story about him. So my friend Joe is actually entombed in this beautiful crypt area with these gorgeous flowers as you enter. He's all the way in the back. It's very busy here today. It's Friday. I didn't think it was going to be this busy, but there's been a mess of people coming through here. So he's all the way in the back. I'm going to go down there, and then I will let you know the stories that I have about Joe Kozial. So right here is Joseph R. Kozial. He was born in 1948 and he died in 2013. So he was about 10 years older than me. Boy, I'm right by the traffic. This is crazy. So the way I know Joe is through my ex-husband, my daughter's dad. He was my daughter's dad's best friend. And Joe also owned a gas station in Chicago, and my ex-husband worked for him. He managed the gas station, and while Joe was off doing another job, he was a Pepsi truck driver. He was a big guy, not heavy set. Well, he was, but he was built, so it didn't show. But anyway, one day, it had to be sometime in the 80s, I think my daughter was small. Maybe she was 4 years old, I'm guessing. Between 2 and 4 years old. So that would have been 1982 to 1984. He had come over to my house to visit my ex-husband, but my ex-husband wasn't there yet. So he decided to sit down and wait for him to get home. He's sitting there with me and we're talking. And all of a sudden, he gets up and he goes, "I have to go." And I said, "Are you okay?" He said, "I have the worst headache you can ever imagine." And I said, "Is there anything I can do?" And I was following him out the door because he was in a hurry. And he didn't say a word and he just left and took off. I never heard anything more that day. So when my ex-husband came home, I told him, "Hey, Joe was here waiting for you and something's going on. I don't know what," but I told him what happened. I said, "Can you get a hold of Marianne," that was Joe's wife, "and see if you can see if he's okay, because I'm kind of concerned." Well, my ex-husband called him and it turns out Joe had gone straight to the hospital. He drove himself to the ER and he had a brain aneurysm. So they did surgery on him. He survived the brain aneurysm, thank goodness. But it was, kind of a touch and go situation. But then later, as it says here, he died in 2013. He ended up with another brain aneurysm, and that one was devastating to him. So I actually went to go visit him in the hospital. And he was in a coma when I went to visit. He was at Northwestern University, I think, downtown Chicago. And my sister Karen and I went out to see him, but he was in a coma. So he didn't speak back or anything, but I did tell him I was there, and I hope he knows. But Joe was a great guy. He was really good to my ex-husband and me, and he really good to my daughter. In fact, my daughter and my ex-husband, her dad, went out to see him. Later on, Joe and his wife Marianne, they bought a motel up in the UP and they moved out there. And he loved it out there. He sent me a picture of a black bear sitting on the hood of his truck. And if I was home, I would try and find it and show you guys. But I'm out right now. Lawnmower. So I don't have that picture with me. But it was the coolest picture. What happened was I called him. So I knew he owned a motel up in the UP. And I was working at a little shop, and some customers came in, and they were talking about wanting to buy a motel in the UP, and Joe and Marianne had their motel for sale. So I said, let me call him. So I called Joe and I spoke to him on the phone, and I told him about these two fellows in my office looking for a motel to buy in the UP, and Joe had his for sale. So they did end up going there, as far as I know. I'm not sure if they're the ones who bought it or not, but they definitely went up there to see it, and I think they may have been the ones who bought it. So anyway, he was a good fellow, and I felt really bad when he died. I went to his wake. And his wife's doing really well. Marianne is a great lady, and she's still living and enjoying her life. And so I just wanted to stop here because I was in the area. St. Adalberts Cemetery is in Niles, and I think it's right next door to Maryhill, where my parents are. So I'm going to go over to Maryhill and visit them. But while I was here, this is the first time I've been to Joe's grave, and I wanted to stop in and pay my respects to him. So God bless you, Joe, for everything. Him and his wife were fantastic to me and my ex-husband. Just great people. Rest in peace, Joe.